Good morning and welcome to the policy discussion for IT department. Policy number 1 is new user system access. New user system access. There's usually a way of doing things. That is why policies are policies. So when there is a new staff in a department and you see the person and identify the person, oh, you are a new person in front office. What is your name? My name is Victoria. Okay, come, let me give you access. Is that how it's done? No. That is not how it's done. So by this policy, we want to understand clearly what we should do when there's a new person in the hotel that requires access to the hotel system. So that is the essence. That is what we are about to discuss. So the purpose of this is to ensure all those newcomers entitled to have access to a PC are given the means within a specified time frame upon joining the hotel. What is the procedure? Let's carefully look at this. Only authorized personnel with a confirmed need will be allowed access to the workstations, not anybody. So that means that you should also have your own documentation that gives you authorization to give someone access. Is that not so? You need to have your own documents. For instance, I could just walk into the front office and I'll ask for the name of somebody and I'll ask the person, do you have access to our system? The person says yes. Then I will tell the IT department, let me see the procedures used in giving this person access to our system. You don't just create it. So you can see that only authorized personnel with a confirmed need will be allowed access to the workstations. Confirmed need is also important, so that nobody will call you from a manager will say, please give this person access, and you know that that person does not need access to do his or her job. If you as an IT person grant the access, you are the one who has gone wrong. So upon the event of a new hire or transfer of a family member into a job that requires access to the workstation, human resources will complete and forward the new user system access form to the department head and general manager for review and signed approval. So we have a document for this which we will implement moving forward. So what that means now is that for everybody who already has access, we have to do this for them. We have to do this. So the request is supposed to come from which department? Human resource. The request should come from which department? Human resource. So the request comes from the human resource department through the head of department. All right? Through the head of department, approved by the general manager. Then you can now create that document. So I want to see this for every single person who has access to the hotel system. Now, human resource will advise the family member's immediate supervisor when the form has been returned and if approved or disapproved. Now, human resource manager can initiate the request, take it to the head of department, let's say the front office manager, that, okay, this is a new staff, has already been confirmed that this is a new staff who is going to be working in the front office department, and we are about to send a request to the IT department for that person to be given access. Now, the front office manager has a right to minute on that to say not yet. Are you getting me? The front office manager has a right to minute to say not yet. This person is not ready. So can you see how you protect yourself? Because if you're just told verbally, create access, give access, create username, give password, and you go ahead and if something goes wrong, who do we hold? The IT. So policies are actually made to protect you as a staff. All right? Policies are made to protect you as a staff, to protect the organization, and to serve the customers well. Because if there is a request from the HR department, the head of department approves that this person is qualified and fit to be given user, then the IT department will go ahead and create it. And if you create it and something goes wrong, you are exempted. Is that not so? All you have to do is to bring out the document that says, this is the HR request, approved by the head of department and the general manager, authorizing me to create access. So let me ask you, Mr. CJ, All the people who have access, do you have any documents? None. So how have you been creating access? You are told verbally, right? So can you see that we have been doing things wrongly? You've seen it clearly. So what that means now is that you and your department, you are at risk if anything goes wrong. That's just what it means. Because as far as I'm concerned, nobody authorized you. Nobody authorized you to create all the access. Can you prove that you were authorized? There is no evidence. So policy number 1, very key, very important. So human resource will advise the family member's immediate supervisor when the form has been returned and if approved or disapproved. So it is when it is approved that it gets to your table. You are authorized and you keep your own copy. Are we clear? Now, until an approved new user system access form on file in the hotel HR office, the newly hired or transferred family member will not be allowed access to the workstation. Completed new user system access form should be kept in the file with human resources and should be reviewed by IT manager and HR every quarter. So can you see? Even those you have created access for, a copy approved to have access to the workstation is supposed to be in their file. Are you getting me? It's supposed to be in their file. Why you will have your own copy as well. So what that means now is that every single department, you need to create a folder for all the departments. Then anytime you are given that form, you file it in that place. Is that not so? You file it there and keep it well, so that whenever you are asked, you bring out the documents. So a copy is kept and is reviewed. Tomorrow somebody can say, no, I wasn't given any access. I was not given any access to the system. You don't have to break your head too much. All you need to do is to go to your own file, or you go to the person's file and you will see if that person was given access to the workstation or not. So that is all about new user access. New user access. This is what this policy says, but we are going to review this. For Crispan, what is applicable is that the department, the head of department will raise the request. So the head of department will raise the request for new user to be granted access. That form or request form goes to the HR department. The HR will look at it and be sure that that person is part of the work system, then approves the request that has been raised by the head of department. Then take that request form to the GM, who will now authorize the IT department to create access for the new user. So that is the policy for Crispan when it has to do with granting a new user access to our workstation. From the head of department first to the human resource. From human resource to the general manager, then the general manager authorizes the IT department. Thank you. Another thing we are going to be adding to this policy on new user is that henceforth the HR department will notify IT department of any staff that has been terminated or disengaged, and the access to the workstation will be disabled by the IT department within 24 hours of notification. So this is also another added policy. Moving forward, IT department will have a documentation, a record of all the staff who have access to workstations, their username, and the level of access granted to him or her. Thank you. All right, so for the form used in creating a new user access, the head of department will raise the request first. It goes to the human resource department. Human resource approves, sends it to the general manager. The general manager authorizes the IT department.